this to me gets to the heart of what Facebook has been from the start. Should it be a place where, or even the heart of the internet? Is it a place where people are responsible for what they put out, or is the host of that information responsible?
Well, the bias in the company's history has always been toward the former, a platform for the interaction of its members, basically a platform, the content comes from you and me, right? But I think what's happened is the scale of Facebook's impact on society, the scale of its diversity in variety of services that it offers, it isn't tenable to just be that anymore. And I think they know that at Facebook. But I think there's a little bit of maybe even an existential crisis, like what are we and how do we live up to what we now are? Because it's easy to forget. People love to just sort of badmouth Facebook or criticize them for whatever they do. This is a company with almost 2 billion users globally. That's never happened before for any company, any industry, right?
There's never been a 2 billion person community.
And it has personal data on all those people. It has, all of them are sharing news of all kinds about themselves, about their brother, about their dog, about their country, about the pothole on their street. And, that's a new environment. They have a lot of systems in place. I think they've done a pretty darn good job managing it, but they have to do a better job.
Yeah, it's not just pictures of soup. I want to that point with this sound, by the way, we've got a clip from your conference last week where he said this to you. So check out what Mark Zuckerberg actually had to say.
Okay, good.
Personally, I think the idea that fake news on Facebook, of which it's a very small amount of the content, influence the election in any way, I think is a pretty crazy idea.
So I don't imagine he's telling advertisers that the pages that they're advertising on have very little impact and nobody actually pays any attention to them.
Yeah, but it's a matter of the percentage of news stories that were fake is less than 1%. So, I think it's really interesting to ask yourself, okay, if Facebook were the arbiter of truth, how do they do that? Truth is a very hard thing to define.
You and I have
in
been
many
journalists
instances.
for a long time.
I know. Okay, you know how much fact-checking it would take in a typical Fortune story when I was at Fortune to ensure that it was true? Like 3 days worth, if it was like a 3,000-word story. It's not easy. I don't deny that Facebook has to do much better. I do think they're taking this whole thing gravely seriously, very seriously. They are somewhat taken aback by the pushback they're getting, and they are working to figure out how they should respond because they feel they have to do more. And I think Zuckerberg's note over the weekend shows that. But I don't think it's easy.
And there was this great piece in the New York Times this week and also suggested it wasn't just Zuck, right? It was that their senior management at Facebook had kind of a staff-wide freak out about this, where they said, hey, do we need to do something differently? Do we need to radically change the way our business works?
Right.
Because we may have contributed to false information helping people make decisions in the campaign.
Interesting to keep in mind, that's happening at every major news organization also.
Yeah.
And I don't say Facebook is just a media company. That's one of many things they do. If the New York Times, the Washington Post, these places are all freaking out internally. They're getting a lot of pushback from their readers, and they're having an existential crisis because everybody got it wrong, and they're thinking, are our systems somehow wrong that we missed it? So it's not just Facebook. Facebook is the biggest, the richest, the most in your face.
Well, and to the point, some breaking news here from Google. Reuters reporting that Alphabet's Google is working on a policy to update and to restrict ads from being placed on fake news sites.
That's
so to
great.
take away the oxygen that is helping them create revenue. But Facebook isn't doing that.
Well, the kind of thing they might be able to do would get authentication somehow for media properties. So, these people in wherever it is.
Macedonia. There's this infamous
Macedonia,
story
where they're making up news organizations.
Let's tell the story. So in
news.
Macedonia, there apparently were a small handful of people creating hundreds of posts that were fake, but were generating a lot of clicks. They were clickbait, and they were very popular on Facebook.
Selling ads.
And who made money? The Macedonian guys made money, and Facebook made money off of this.
True. So if it wouldn't be that hard, it seems to me, to have some kind of authentication for media organizations that would prevent that. I think that could be done. And I bet they do introduce something like that in the not distant future.